Congratulations! You have found Wrestle Shoot, hosted by the Wild Thing Rob Wilds and the ladies' man Chris Casanova. Combined, we have 40 years of wrestling experience, and we're here to share those experiences, stories, and knowledge with you over the podcast airwaves. We'll be joined by friends of ours from time to time to share their stories and experiences with you as well. So climb aboard the crazy train we call Wrestle Shoot. We know how to do it, and we do it real well.
That's right, baby. Welcome back to another week of Wrestle Shoot, the worst and best pro wrestling show out there.
Worst and best. I like that.
Like that. Oh, that's too funny. Okay, so unfortunately, it looks like we're not streaming on the old anti-social network. I know Creepy Jimmy's probably lurking around back there. If you think you can add it on, let me see if I can. There we go. You hit the limit. Well, shoot, that sucks. I'm your host, the Wild Thing, Rob Wilds, joined, of course, by the lovely and talented, my hetero. God. Hold on a second, Jimmy, for Christ's sake.
And the crazy creeper appears.
Anyway, joined, of course, by the lovely and talented, the Vanna White to my Pat Sajak.
Wow, Vanna White
himself, Chris Casanova. What's happening, brother? And, of course, Creepy Jimmy. Hi, Jimmy.
Yeah. Hey, Jimmy.
How you feeling, my twisted little friend?
You smell different when you're sleeping.
Okay.
It's never complete until Jimmy gives me goosebumps right off the goddamn bat. Chris, tonight, brother, we have one of the two greatest goddamn ring announcers I have ever had the pleasure to work with. Of course, the one who's got my heart from now until the end of time, the great one himself, the originator of this very program, Mr. Michael Porter. But before we bring on our special guest, Chris, we have got to address something that we have been laughing about all week since you were in Tampa, and we watched it. And we decided to make this the feature of matches that were so bad they will make you hallucinate. And of course, I am referring to none other than, and very specifically, Ultimate Warrior versus Hercules in a chain match.
Yeah, I think it actually lasted like 90 seconds.
Chain match.
You definitely look like it. I just
like
gotta
90,
say
like
this
literally.
before we get. I gotta say this before we get too far off in the conversation. You do look like a pretty Vanna White, though.
Oh well. I'm not sure how I'm supposed to, I'm not sure how I'm supposed to take that. I'm a little creeped out, but yeah.
Of course you're creeped out. It's fucking Creepy Jimmy.
I mean, thank you, I guess, but mostly creeped out.
Look at him turn into a girl.
Yeah, I have goosebumps right now, just like Rob does.
And Jimmy, apparently your breath still smells like burnt rubber and KY jelly. Just FYI. I'm not saying it's true. I'm just saying that's what I heard.
Well, that's because the doctors keep putting the KY jelly in the wrong spot.
Damn doctors. So let's address this really quick. I mean, let's be honest. Hercules wasn't the greatest fucking wrestler on the planet, but he also wasn't the worst. He was a guy that could work with Hogan and have a good match as long as he's got somebody to really guide him. And they put him in Warrior with every intention just to make Warrior look like a badass. And in my opinion, it did not work, especially that garbage chain match, seconded only to, of course, their WrestleMania 4 Grand Slam match.
Oh, that was not good. I mean, it was the time that Vince was trying to get Warrior over, so he was just throwing pretty much anybody in his way. Like, okay, let's just throw Herc in here and.
We're gonna give him anybody. That's why I said anybody.
Yeah,
they're gonna do what I said.
Rob's on a tangent again. No.
Don't make me get angry, Vince, because Rob's gonna need a lozenge.
But yeah, it was awful, man. Like both matches. Yeah, what did like 90 seconds or something like that? A chain match.
The chain match, yeah, it was like I thought it was like 2 minutes. It was just pathetic.
Yeah, well, whatever. It was still
maybe
short.
30 seconds longer than your guess, maybe.
Yeah, and then like the chain, well, whatever the gimmick chain broke, whatever. Yeah, it was pretty bad.
Stupid.
But
that's you got to figure Vince might have been pretty overwhelmed back at that time. He's like, God damn it, pal, we got to get this guy over. We got to get him over. How we gonna do it? We're gonna give him Hercules.
Oh,
and they're gonna be horrible matches, but we're still gonna stop.
Yeah. Well, they tried. He tried. I mean, I saw where he was trying to go with it, but it didn't work.
Now, Creepy Jimmy, when our guest gets here, I expect you to be in your best motherfucking behavior because I worked with ring announcers all over the country, and I was fortunate enough, and I think Chris can agree, that we happen to have the two greatest ring announcers within 2 hours from both of us either direction.
Oh yeah, I'm happy about our guest today,
and he's gonna be here any old second. We're just waiting on him to show up. Oh shit!
Oh.
Here we go, ladies and gentlemen. Chris, get back here.
Shut up.
Jesus Christ!
I'm the other host on the show. You don't tell me what to do.
Why don't you be a goddamn professional?
Yeah, Chris is one of the big guys around here. You better watch how you talk to him with your mouth open.
Oh.
You shut your mouth when you're talking to me.
Oh, wow.
Anyway.
Yeah, so much fun here.
Shut your face. Can I please give a
man? I'm sorry. Please.
Give a
please
man
go ahead.
who deserves somebody to give him a proper announcement like he has given thousands and thousands of wrestlers, both of us included over the years. Ladies and gentlemen, in the annals of professional wrestling, there are very few announcers that fit into a great big category of the greats. In that category would certainly be none other than Mr. Howard Finkel, of course, the great Michael Porter, and I am really happy to finally be able to have the legendary, the epic, Mr. Alan Volpe joining us.
Thank you. I like it.
I
like that mustache.
Yeah, we've had it a long time. In fact, it's starting to get a little bit gray. Hey, I'm not too vain. That gray is gone.
No, love it, Alan.
We've been trying to get on this podcast for what, a couple months?
Yeah, we've been dancing around schedules,
Yeah.
Very glad to be here.
We were all set. We were ready to make it happen. And I woke up on show day with goddamn COVID for the second time in a year. So, we had to put it off. But now,
I think tequila helps.
That's what I heard.
I'll tell you what doesn't help is whiskey. Yeah, whiskey has a bad go around with COVID.
But you're okay now.
Rob Wilds can't drink. He can't drink tequila.
No, you're right about that, Mr. Castle. Wild Thing and tequila are not friends. We don't get along. It makes Wild Thing completely take over, and that's never a good thing, kids. Not saying, I'm just saying. So
when I drink, I prefer tequila.
We have been talking, Alan, about trying to get you on the show since we reincarnated Wrestle Shoot like 2.5 years ago. Took forever to track you down.
Yeah.
Clearly, I wasn't looking in the right places.
Yeah, and I'm still in the Bay Area. That's where I was born and raised. Mm-hmm. You know, I started ring announcing when I was 17 at the Cow Palace.
Wow.
Lloyd Shire for the Shire promotion. The announcer didn't show. Long story. And actually, I had been a fan most of my life. And I did an article on Pat Patterson when he first came here. I was about 15 or 16 for the Ring Wrestling. And they published it, accepted it, and published it. Then I started writing for other pro wrestling magazines. If you remember, at one time, there were 11 national wrestling magazines: Wrestling Review, Wrestling World, Ring Wrestling, Wrestling Today, all pretty big sellers.
Wow.
I've done a lot of shows at the Cow Palace.
Okay, yeah. We used to pack it. Battle every January. I used to love the 18-man battle royal. We sold every seat.
Oh yeah.
And I was publishing the programs that we sold. That was a big moneymaker. We would sell like 4,000 programs at $1 a piece. I'd go home with about 1,000 profit. Then, in those days.
That was good money.
My personal favorite moment with Alan Bolte was we were doing it backstage. He had his microphone up. He was Mr. Consummate television professional interviewer. And I'm just getting ready to start cutting my promo. And in comes walking Bushwhacker Luke. Licks me down the side of my face.
Yes.
Told me to take a powder. And I went, oh my God. And Alan goes, you better go see the medic right now, Wild. I'm like, oh Jesus. I ran away.
Memories, yes.
Powder, mate.
Bushwhack Luke was great.
Some of the greats I've introduced, Fabulous Moolah, The Rock's father, Rocky Johnson, Pat Patterson, John Morocco, Andre the Giant. Andre was actually in my house in Berkeley way back, I'm going to say 78, maybe.
Wow.
A lot of old school. Hogan, of course.
Look how casual he says one of the greatest ones ever. You know, of course, Hogan.
Yeah.
Or maybe Flair once or twice. Yeah.
Alan's, you know everybody.
Yeah.
So,
You know,
question
most
for
of the
the
guys-
guys: What was your favorite moment in your career history?
Oh God, didn't quite plan for that one. The greatest moment. Just the battle royals. It was so packed. It was such a big thing. We always used to start about 20 minutes late just to get the fans really going and just to pack the place. And Shire would bring in all the big national names. He'd bring in 5 or 6 big names, and then all the locals. You know, the territory. It was all territories then. And it was real exciting to be a part of the territory. Shire was a tremendous promoter, very successful. It was not easy working for him because he was very tough. And I'll always tell the story when I started announcing for Louis Miller, and then Roy saw me in Sacramento, said, I'll put you in the Cow Palace. And his quote was, I'm going to put you in the fucking Cow Palace. If you fuck up, I throw your ass out the same night you came in. If you're good, I'll keep you forever. And after the show, I didn't hear anything. And I called him and I said, I didn't hear. He said, obviously you didn't fuck up.
Love it.
Because everybody knows how gruff Roy could be.
Yeah, he had that classic wrestling promoter's voice.
Yes.
Real graveled.
Yeah. And the old story, way before I started, he got wrestling in a Santa Rosa TV station, way back, a small station, before he got the big time, Channel 2. And when they were filming, he always had a habit of spitting. And he spit in the studio, and the owner of the studio, an older, very successful lady, walked over to the promoter and said, who is that man? And he said, it's Roy Shire, the promoter. She says, cancel the show.
Wow.
But it's our biggest show we have, pro wrestling. Cancel it. And he says, okay, I'll make some calls. Cancel it now. Stop the match, I swear. And what did Shire say when they all had this big fight and they're saying it's over, we'll talk to our lawyers tomorrow? Shire said real loud, you fucking 2-bit cunt. I'll fucking buy the station and fire your ass. That's the quote. And I believe every word of it.
Well, I used to tell Chris,
Sounds about right.
I used to love it when T.C. Martin and Shire would do shows together because you've got Mr. like, I am what the business is about. And then you got T.C. Martin who's like, yeah, but I'm Hollywood, baby.
Yeah.
So they did really big shows together.
Yeah.
That was a great combo. Yeah.
The yin and yang.
We are going way back in time. Sorry to keep muting you, Jimmy. Whenever you want to say something, just take the mute off. But you were giving us some feedback. That and I don't like you, so I put you on mute.
Mostly not like him.
Well, mostly I'm scared of him, that creepy bastard.
Yeah, I've still got the goosebumps going.
So, you know, we agreed before we started the show, we were just going to skip the bit. But, you know, Alan is always a guy that I would love to sit and listen to him, sitting and talking to the new guys and telling them stories and giving them advice. It was like Porter used to do. It's like listening to Granddad tell you how to make it in the business. And he's so full of knowledge about the business, so he'd probably come in very handy. Alan, we've been doing a bit. We just started last week talking about wrestlers that we believe were grossly underused in the wrestling business. Last week, we had Duke the Dumpster Drosy on with us, so we were talking about Bad News Alan being grossly misused. So this week, we picked somebody new, and you're here, and you're an expert, so let's get your feedback as well. This week, we've selected to talk about Mike Awesome as being grossly underused. I thought Mike Awesome was fantastic on every aspect. Comment?
I think he is underused. He's in tremendous shape. He's a big draw. He has the youth, the strength.
Well, he's gone now.
It's not too late.
He's gone now. He's dead now.
Okay, I missed. I missed.
You didn't get the memo?
That must have been a hangover morning.
maybe he's getting a push on the other side.
Ah, there you go. Yes.
Yeah. We're going to groove a lot, maybe.
Way underside or way overside. I didn't know. When did this happen? I'm sorry.
Oh, it happened years ago.
Okay.
That's at least 5 years.
Okay.
Yeah, it's been a while. I think it's actually been a little bit long. Well, no, I just moved here.
There is a promoter here that I announced for 20 years here in the Northern California, Kirk White.
The
He did
great
a lot of indie shows as well.
White.
We sadly lost him a year ago, December, just very suddenly. Christmas Eve, heart attack, and he was 62. He wasn't way out of shape or anything, just boom. But his wife is doing some promoting, and it's continuing on. But he brought in a lot of big names. He was one of the best indie promoters in Northern California. He brought in Ric Flair, Patterson, Roddy Piper, you name it.
Oh, I think he was the greatest promoter in California, Nevada, Oregon, Washington. He trumps all of them. The only one that promoted up to Kirk's standards and Kirk's level was Mike Welch. Whenever he wanted to do a show in California, he called Kirk.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah. He didn't run as often as Kirk, though. But
Well, Mike did the monster truck thing.
That's what I'm saying. He never ran as often as Kirk.
Yeah, this would be Kirk's 23rd year with Big Time Wrestling.
Wow.
Boy, me and Kirk, in the beginning of our relationship, we banged heads every single time we talked. And then one day he said, "Why are you so arrogant when I'm just trying to fucking help you?" And I went, "Oh shit, you know what? You're right. I'm sorry." And then we started getting along. He told me once, "You're the only wrestler I've ever used that literally makes my brain itch every time."
Yeah.
But he knew that if I thought he didn't have a good idea, I would argue with him. But then if he was like, "I don't care, you're doing it anyway," then I'm still going to do it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he was serious about the business, serious about his shows. Everybody had to be good, no fuck ups, as he would always say.
That's right.
And he had some great shows. And I do want to say that all throughout the years, the indies now are unbelievable. I mean, some of the talent is just amazing. And the fans really get a treat because you don't have the gates, the fences. It's just much more up close.
Right.
And some of the guys do get signed on. I mean, let's see. A couple of guys from Kirk have been signed on. And Bailey, she was trained by Kirk's Big Time Wrestling group. Bailey on...
She's good.
Mm-hmm.
I know Brian Cage used to roll through Kirk.
Yes.
Did he train there?
Yes, for a bit. Yeah. Brian Cage. Going way back with Roland Alexander, the giant Kala,
Yeah. Kali, yeah, delete.
Yeah.
and he definitely trained with All Pro Wrestling, and there was a big fight, lawsuit, because he didn't want to give All Pro their cut and all that. I don't know how that happened. We lost Roland Alexander way too soon, but he had a great indie group going too. Back to the Shire days, there were at one point 14 towns in Northern California, some of them spot shows, but we had San Francisco, Santa Rosa, Stockton, San Jose every other week, Sacramento every other week, Cow Palace every month, Modesto every week. And these places would pack back in the late 70s, very early 80s.
Yeah, back when DeMarco used to sell that song bitch out every other Wednesday.
Yes, Dr. Paul DeMarco and Ken Ramey.
Wow, Paulie,
Blast from the past.
he was an underused talent. He should have been hit a lot harder than he was. Paulie was a genius.
Yeah, and he had the size. They were trying to push him as the new Andre the Giant.
That he beat the brakes off of Iron Sheik and made him fall out of his boot at one of those Cow Palace shows.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Paulie used to tell me that story, and I'd be like, come on. And then finally, Sheiky told me the story exactly how Paul did, and I was like, I take it back, Paul. You're the man. You beat the crap out of Iron Sheik right there in the show. Good for you. Alan, do you remember one of Kirk's shows? And this is just because me and Chris still laugh about it. You guys had Jarrett working Styles, and that drunk Mark in the front row kept like talking shit, and then finally threw a cup in the ring, and boy, I thought Jarrett was going to kill that Mark.
Yeah.
Styles worked hard to protect that
I think
guy.
Jason talked him down.
Yeah.
I guess Jason knew the guy or something and talked him down.
He's brought Chris Masters in several times. Carlito was in something recently, Masters. I've always liked Chris. I know that WWE gave him a huge push when he started, if you remember. And then he kind of brought him back a little bit. But he said he's pretty busy with the indie circuits. And he was in Australia. For them to fly you to Australia, you're not making a few $100. They got to be paying.
Right.
And he seems pretty happy living in LA.
Oh, he's in LA? I didn't know that.
Yes. He said he was living in Toronto for a while, for about a year, and he just couldn't stand the weather. Looks like your camera was unplugged. Plug it back in or select a different camera. Click the camera button. Is that me? I don't know.
Yeah, it just disconnected itself.
Let's see. Oh, we got a camera issue here.
On our end, did we mess up?
Nothing changed here.
Let me.
Well, maybe go ahead, Alan, real quick and just back out and come on, follow that link on back in. There we go.
Yeah.
That's good, because I wanted to grab a picture of Mr. Kirk White for everybody to see, so I'm searching for it right now. Jimmy and Christopher, why don't you guys gab a little bit? Have some pillow talk while I do this.
Got some pillow talk? No, I'm good. Thank you.
Do it now.
No. You're very demanding today.
What?
You've been very demanding. Usually you're very, in this relationship.
Yes.
That was even Steven.
When am I ever Mr. Nice Guy? You're lying, sir. You're a goddamn fucking liar. That's what's wrong. That's what you are. You're a liar. Jimmy, I can't hardly hear you at all, which is a good thing. Trust me.
It's very like, where are you at in your car?
Don't call him whatever you called him, you goddamn cocksucker.
I called him a wonderful human being. So where do you get off telling me not to? Huh?
Are you stalking somebody?
Who?
Jimmy.
Oh, of course. Well, of course Jimmy's stalking somebody. Bear with us, guys. We're just getting through the.
I'm in Rob's bushes outside his window.
Oh God, you too. As last I hear, old Mr. J was hiding out there before. There we go.
See,
I think
how
Alan's
can I
back.
do this? We're back.
Welcome back.
Hey, wait, I had to have my quick 2 shots.
Oh, tequila, right?
Oh, hell yes. I don't know. I have no idea what happened here, but
It's just the wonder of the modern age of technology. It's a great thing right up until it's not.
you're right. But just
Yeah.
think in the old days, you didn't have any of this. We didn't have cell phones. We had 14 towns running. If you called Shire and it was busy, you kept calling back. And I wonder but we did it. We didn't have car directions. You had to write down how to get to the arena, but we all did it. It worked somehow.
I think he had maps,
Well,
right?
I was trying
Yes.
to grab a picture of
Map,
Mr.
yeah.
White to share.
Open up the
but
big
it's
old
not
map.
working. Let's see here.
Writing down directions, and then I think when technology came in, it was like message boards were a big thing for a while.
Yeah, yes.
I remember those.
Message boards. The NorCal report. I think that thing is actually still going. People are still using it.
Is it really? Wow.
NorCal Uncensored.
Rob and Chris, let me ask, going back to the Shire days and the territory from about, let's say, 75 to 82 or 3, who were your favorite Shire wrestlers? Maybe name one.
DeMarco, hands down. Dr. Death did really well over there with Roy.
Man, you took that one for me, man.
And then, of course, Roy gave me the opportunity with old Jimmy Valiant. That was great.
Oh, yeah.
He
The
was
Valiant
Coco
brothers.
a lot. Coco always shined because he was still just really spry at the time before his knees started going on him. What about you, Chris? What do you think?
Man, you hit it right on the button with Dr. Death and Jimmy Valiant, man. Those are some 2 great ones that I just absolutely loved. They were freaking awesome.
The Valiant brothers.
Yeah. Then he had Jesus Christ. It's right at the tip of my Ray Stevens. He used the hell out of Ray Stevens.
He's even before me. But yeah, he was the territory. And then when Patterson came in, that was huge. And that was kind of before I started. Yeah, Ray was a legend here. And then eventually went on to AWA, Vern Gagne. And I don't know if he worked for Vince. I don't think so. I think Stevens, I think the next step was,
Stevens never made it to Vince.
no.
No, I don't.
And
I don't think he
even
did.
like Bruiser Brody, man. Bruiser Brody really shined with Shire because
Yes.
Bruiser didn't like promoters, but he likes Roy, so he likes to
did.
play ball with Roy's plan.
Yeah.
And that's very rare for somebody like Brody to take on a personal relationship with a promoter outside of business. And really,
That's true.
like Roy was a hard dick motherfucker in the locker room. Like
Oh, yes.
he let you
Yes.
know this is what's happening. There's no option B. You don't like it, you know where you can get. But then he'd call you at home a couple of days later just to ask how your mom was doing.
It's true. The
He
next
was a really
day,
good guy.
you were good friends. Sometimes I'd walk in the dressing room, Boldy, you're fucking 10 minutes late. I'd say,
Yeah.
okay, Roy, but I'm here.
Fuck that. DeMarco never gave you that option. Don't be 10 minutes late or don't go. That's
Right.
it.
Right.
Be there 2 hours early or don't show up for work.
Right.
Because the guys who are getting the push and are getting the bigger paydays are the ones who are showing up early and don't mind putting up some chairs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
helped Ray put his ring together a couple times. That old,
Really?
20-foot spring ring he used to have. That
Well,
thing was some bitch.
He had a TV ring, which I think was
Right.
16 by 16 or 18 by 18.
The TV was an 18.
Okay, and the Cow Palace was 20 by 20.
That spring ring. The
Which
18 was a
Freaking
10.
huge, man.
Yeah. And the Cow Palace ring was big. It was boxing and wrestling. And when I would climb up those, you had to climb about 6 steps just to get in the ring.
Yep.
So no matter where you were, balcony, front row, no matter where, you had you could see, you could observe everything really well.
And every time you went over the top, it was a long way down.
Oh God, yeah. I remember when Moolah, way back, Betty Boucher, whoever it was, the match started, Betty jumped her, grabbed Moolah right when the match starts, way over the top rope and onto the arena floor.
Mulligan.
Whoa.
I haven't heard that name in years.
She was a nice lady, and so was Mae Young.
Never got to meet Moolah. I did meet Mae Young through Sherry, and I thought she was just such a genuine
Oh,
person.
sweet.
So rare
Very
to
sweet.
find.
Very sweet.
But then so was Sherry. Sherry was a wonderful gal. too.
Yes.
She just had her drinking demons.
Gone way
So,
too
no,
soon,
Mickey.
unfortunately.
You know, Mickey,
What,
the
Jimmy?
head of the house at Cow Palace, he's retired now.
There's another story about Roy, way back when he first came to the territory and tried to bring competition and wipe out. He went to the Cow Palace manager, and he said, I want to bring wrestling here, pro wrestling. And the manager first said, well, there's wrestling now. It's at the Civic Auditorium. Shire was, all fucking wipe them out. So long story short, the manager kept saying, wrestling, pro wrestling? This place holds 17,500. Roy says, I'll fill every fucking seat. So eventually they signed. He got Channel 2 TV, first show at the Cow Palace. So when they signed that day, go ahead, we'll start a month from now. Roy left, walked to his car, walked back in, went back to the manager and said, by the way, you ever fucking laugh at my ideas again, I'll put you right through that fucking window.
I'll put you right through that
I
window.
really believe that story. Knowing
Wow.
Roy,
That sounds just about right, like how it went down.
yes.
I've heard him say that same thing about a window. If you ever blah blah again, I'll put you through that fucking window and throw your gear out right after you.
Yeah.
Oh God, he was great. He was a really cool. I remember this one time when I just met him. Like he wasn't in for too long after I broke in, but Paulie was getting me on with him. And I walk in the back, he goes, "You, young man with the hair." I said, "Me? Yeah, come here." So he comes over, he hands me a 10, he goes, "Go get me a sixer of my St. Pauli." Oh yeah, fuck yeah, dude. So I ran down the way, got a sixer of St. Pauli, brought it back to him, and he goes, "Where's Paulie?" Like, I don't think he's here. All right, here, you can have one. Oh, okay, right.
Oh,
If
damn.
you tell Paul that I gave you that beer, I'm gonna deny it and fire you. All right.
When you think that was around when? 78 maybe?
No. Shy.
When?
No shit. Can you guys still see me?
I can see you, but you're like frozen. He's gone, and it's just us three.
It's catchy. Look, it's catchy. You're going to be next.
Yeah,
Chris, you're going to be next.
I know. Hopefully not. but,
Jimmy, you're next.
What am I doing?
Alan, I remember back when I was a rookie in APW, you were doing a lot of shows with Roland.
Yes.
A lot of announcing. And I remember some stories you were telling me, just me getting started and just motivating me and just encouraging.
Good.
And yeah, it was.
Are we still on the air?
But yeah, we're still here.
Oh, sorry about that. I'm having an internet problem on my end.
Yeah. Oh, he's gone again.
Not again.
But
Halloween's over.
so are you still at Big Time or?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's kind of on strings for the future, but the wife is trying to run some stuff, and they have a show coming up in a couple weeks. Roland was a hell of a, at Roland's funeral, I mentioned that of all the people, I personally have known Roland more than anybody did. We were 16, 17, hanging around the Cow Palace, and he and Steve Pardee,
Right.
way back, who eventually broke in. And he said, I don't know how I'm going to get in this business somehow. It may be a wrestler, a promoter, try something. And sure enough, he did. And he loved the business. And he had a whole bunch of towns going for a long time there and drawing pretty well. Eventually, I just couldn't hit all those towns. We didn't have the time to go to, Modesto and Santa Rosa and all that. So I announced when I could. But he had a lot of good talent.
Yeah.
He was very serious about his training. Mike Modest, all those guys were real good.
Yeah.
Please.
I was definitely thankful I was trained by Mike.
Okay.
Great training. Great.
Yeah.
Hands down. But yeah, so you're just doing big time. You doing any other promotions in the area or outside the area? Or just
Once in
keeping
a
it local?
while, and I'll do WWE. When they have no TV, no pay-per-view, nothing like that. Yeah. I did a whole thing with WWE about 10, 11 years ago. They had some small towns here that were not on TV, and they drew really well. But don't you think they're cutting back on the local stuff a little bit? They used to cut
okay.
Sacramento and Reno much more.
Okay. Like not so many house shows anymore?
Right. They're so big on the TV, Friday night, Monday night. And it looks like they're drawing amazing. What about AEW? They're really doing well.
I mean, it's new, it's catchy.
Hey guys, I'm going in to eat dinner, so I got to split.
Dinner. Can you fax me a burger?
Yeah, no, they're
Chris
amazing.
Jericho.
It was nice meeting you.
Good to see you, Jimmy.
Chris
Yeah, I
Jericho.
did an article on Chris Jericho when he was 17. He was doing some wrestling with Woody Farmer here locally.
Wow.
They had a TV show, Bay Area Wrestling. It was Northern California. It was catching on. They did some live shows. Chris was 17. I did an article on Wrestling World, really before he even made any kind of big time. He was working a couple indies. He was in a rock band. And he gave me some pictures of him wrestling in Mexico and and that's how we got it in the magazine. I acted like he's already big time. And he, to this day, says, I'll never forget that. You got me in that magazine. I was 17. And I said, I never thought when you were 17, you would be as big as you are now. I mean, he's had years on top.
Wow. You just never know. I mean, honestly,
Yeah.
you just never know. I mean, it's that person that's going to make it big. And are you back, Rob?
Yeah, yes, I can. Now, am I moving really slow?
No, I think you're good.
Okay, on my end, I'm real pixelated and screwed. $400 brand new computer, of course, it already doesn't want to work.
It happens.
We're just talking about Woody Farmer.
Yes.
Now,
Another.
he's who Kirk got big time from, right? Was from Woody.
Yeah. So Woody's wrestled for many years, as you know, and he did all these acts like he carried a piano up Lombard Street, the most crooked street in the world. It was on ABC, it was on TV. He did a lot of that kind of stuff. He owned a piano moving company, and he wrestled. He never really made the big time here. He was more preliminary. But then he did go on to Kansas and big places. So his son, Shane Cody, wrestled a lot.
Yeah.
And now Shane's son occasionally gets in the ring, on smaller shows. And
I
it was
heard
sad.
he's good.
Yeah.
His son.
Mhm.
Okay.
And it was sad when we lost Woody.
Yeah. That was a long time. But Shane Cody's son, I heard he's really good.
Yeah, I've only seen him a few times, but yes, good gimmick.
Gotcha. Well, so Alan, is there anything you want to promote or anything? Things that you're doing you want to promote on our show?
No.
Any websites? No.
My email, keyfabe@AOL. I tried to get kayfabe way back in the day, and it was gone, so I had to change it to keyfabe. A little bit off. And then I heard that Rocky Johnson took kayfabe way back then.
Oh, okay.
The Rock's father, yeah. Do you like that show, The Young
We
Rock?
had that discussion last night.
Ah,
I was telling Chris, you and I had that text discussion last night.
Yes.
Did you mean keyfabe, or did you wrote keyfabe? Did you mean kayfabe?
yeah. The KAYFABE was taken, so I did it KEYFABE.
Okay, keyfabe.
Close.
Okay.
It's kayfabe, but I had to spell it
Yeah.
really different. That was another thing way back in Boys' Day. Kayfabe was so important.
Yeah.
That was his number one thing. Keep it kayfabe, this is a tough business and this is a sport. You know,
Yeah.
He would have the masked wrestlers pull over a mile before the arena, put their hood on, and then drive up to the arena. That was how serious he was about it.
Wow. Yeah. No. And basically, they couldn't stay at the same hotels, like you know, the heels and faces. Like it was very like
You're right.
separated. Yeah.
Very. You know, don't talk to your girlfriends, anything about, you know, just not even, he would say, not even your fucking wife. It's like he would tell Rocky Johnson, don't even tell your wife about the stuff that's going on.
Right. It was serious business back then. I mean, so you've been in the industry a long time. When did you start seeing it kind of going away?
Well, Roy closed his territory in about 82, and then Vern Gagne came in.
Okay.
And worked for Vern Gagne, his first show at the Coliseum. Roy was still running, and I remember calling Roy and saying, Vern wants me to announce, and he was like, don't you fucking announce for him. I'm still going to work here. You work for him, you're not working for me. And I thought, what do I do? And Brett Bastien was here, and he said, Roy's going to shut down. I would go with Vern, and I did.
Yeah.
And Roy ran a battle royal regardless with me.
Okay.
We advertised the next show in a month, and that was it. But Roy could have screwed me, and I always tell people he was very honest. He sent me he always paid you the show after.
Okay.
So sure enough, he mailed me my check, the last check. He could have screwed me over, but he didn't. He was very good. I won't forget that. And I did a couple of AWA shows, and then Larry Nelson came along.
Okay.
And Gagne decided financially it's better to have somebody travel with them. So I got wiped out there. And Larry, who I never thought he was a great announcer. I'll compliment so many of them, Gene Okerlund, etc. I just thought he didn't really have it, but he went with them and on the road and did the TV out of Vegas and all that. So he did the house shows and the TV for several years.
Okay. Wow. Yeah, that's, and then kind of starts at that point. So you're just mainly staying local. You didn't really travel too much. Okay. Gotcha. That's a rough schedule.
Born and raised here in the Bay Area, Berkeley, and my wrestling money got me my first house when I was about 28.
Oh, so, wow.
And then I still have it.
Dang. Okay.
You know, some of the guys, a story like Jake the Snake Roberts is so sad. Here's somebody who was literally on top of the world, selling out huge arenas. And then now today doesn't have a dime. It's just kind of sad.
It is.
Some of the wrestlers, Patterson, who made a lot of money, always invested. When we lost him, he was worth about $9 million. And someone like Ray Stevens, the partier, died in the poorhouse. Everybody's just a little bit different. Is Rob still around?
Did you say, I just came back in, did you say Stevens died in a whorehouse? Did I hear that wrong?
In the poorhouse.
Oh,
the poorhouse, okay. Yeah.
But if not, Ray might have died in a whorehouse. Yes, he was pretty wild.
Yeah. He was saying that he partied so much. Yeah.
I try to get this interview forever, and my computer decides it's not going to cooperate.
Ray did party, and he was a real nice guy. And yeah. I would say that so many people say this about Andre the Giant. Just such a big heart. I did an interview on a show on him, and I said his heart was as big as his body. His hands were huge, and he could chug a giant liter of vodka, hardly to get drunk.
You seen that?
But he always said, I hurt. You know, on a plane, even on 2 seats, my feet hang over the bed. Even in a king bed, I'm constantly hurting. And that's why he said, his doctor said it's very good, not just for a gimmick, but very good when you get up in the ring and you step way over the ropes, you know. And they say he needs that movement. But as nice as he was, he always said that I'm really hurting.
Wow, that's sad. He was pretty young when he passed too, right? I mean,
I think 48.
wow, gosh,
Boy, and
so
he sure
sad.
grew. Everybody wanted Andre. When Roy brought Andre in, he tried every year or so. All the little cities were packed. Everywhere. If Andre was coming, everything 100%. So,
Wow,
so it really, really paid off.
yeah, legend gone way too soon.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And I've heard the stories about when he first started and he came to the U.S., he didn't speak much English, mostly French, and he had a French manager. And eventually they discovered the manager was ripping him off. Like the check would be $1,000, and the manager would say, "Okay, here's $800, and my 20%, and here's $600 for you." And that went on a little bit before Patterson came, who speaks French, and put a complete end to that.
Wow.
Andre. Pat speaks French, of course.
oh, okay,
So he and Andre befriended. Whenever Andre came, if it was here for 3 weeks, he would usually stay at Pat's, who bought a huge house in Redwood City with a view and with a swimming pool and all that.
yeah,
We had some great parties there.
wow,
But Andre really he's a family name, even if you don't know wrestling.
oh yeah. I mean, everybody knows Andre. It's like, have you heard of him? Have you heard of him? Oh, absolutely. Well, Cole, well, we're about to wind down here. Alan, is there again, I know you don't have anything to promote or anything. Is there something you want to talk about? Like,
just wrestling is a fantastic business. You know, I'm getting a little bit older, so hopefully they'll continue to have me. And I love it. And I've met some amazing people. And it's the kind of thing that gets in your blood. I remember when I was at the Cow Palace, and even past then, I thought, what if I'm not announcing? What if Shire says I need somebody else? Or, I mean, this feeling in my body would be like, I couldn't deal with that. That's how important it is.
It's an awesome business. It's ever turning. It's always changing with times.
And the young talent is amazing. Red Bastien said once in a fan fest, in his day, what these guys do would have been one finish in his day. And now they do 5, 6 high spots, and they're still doing it. And they're very talented.
Yeah.
A lot of the guys that I see in the training are WWE material. I'll ask you something real quickly.
Yeah.
Back in the days with WCW and WWF.
Yeah.
WCW got so big. At one point, they were almost bigger than WWE.
They were.
And do you think that could happen with AEW?
It's, honestly, it could happen. It really could. They got a lot of.
They have a great show and tremendous talent.
They do. I mean, I think the difference, just my opinion, with WCW and AEW is WCW had a lot of money, so does AEW, but the talent AEW is a lot better than it was at WCW.
Oh, yeah.
That's what they have going for AEW.
A lot of these young guys who are in great shape and tremendous ability. Amazing. Well, I wish them the best.
Yeah, absolutely. Well,
we keep losing someone.
Yeah.
Rob.
Back?
In fact, you went to feel a shot yourself.
Yeah. What? Shoot myself? What?
Wait, you're back.
I am back, and I don't seem to be frozen.
Yeah, you're good. We were just talking about, lots of stuff. We just talked about
Andre, Club, then it went quiet for a while.
Yeah.
Then it came back to something regarding AEW taking over WWE.
Well, we were just.
Yeah, could they, like WCW got so, right? They were huge for a while.
Yeah.
And his was running a little scared. And AEW is huge and amazing talent.
I guess the real question is WWE still looking to sell?
Do you really think that Vince is really out of his step down? I don't believe that.
I think,
the scandal with the ladies and all that.
Honestly, what I think is there has been serious examination by Disney to buy WWE, and they won't buy anything with sexual scandal attached to it. and that's why Vince got out of the way. So the question is, how long are they still going to be owned by the McMahons? And then, in which case, does AEW have a chance to overtake during that period of transition? Which I still say, especially if it's going to Disney, no way. Disney's going to crush AEW.
We'll see, man. They got a lot of talent.
I had stock in WWE. I bought some stock when it first came out at 20 years ago. Then it dropped to about 10. I thought, oh, God. Now it's at about, I think, 50. So, and I know that's part of WWE's problem because they're stock. They have to answer to certain people, and that's why they don't want to have the blood or the cussing or any of that. Yeah, we'll see what happens here. Wrestle Shoot, a great show, very nice production. I'm glad to be on.
Thank you.
Maybe we'll do it again. When I drove in today, I thought, why didn't I bring some of my old pictures and programs? And I have wrestling magazines from the 70s, posters from the 70s, and a great shot of me and Bruiser Brody.
Oh my gosh!
Dallas Battle Royal. Bruiser's choking me, and we did that shot from way back. It had to be about 78. He was a real nice guy, and I remember him telling me real quietly, "Get Shire to book me more." I said, "Okay, I'll talk to him."
Try use you as a booking agent, huh?
Yes.
So before I jump off, Alan, any words of wisdom, parting words for people who want to be a wrestler or just in general?
Hang in there. It can happen. I wanted to be a wrestling announcer, and it happened. It can happen. Just like parking, you pull up to the place and you say, "I'll never find a parking place so close." Well, they did. Somebody did. It can happen. A lot of the guys can make it, and some of them are having fun at the indies, and they're making some money. Nobody's getting real rich, but a lot of your ex honky tonk used to come to all the independents. He was still making some money and working and doing fan fest. Somebody said Hogan still commands $25,000 for a fan fest appearance, even now, plus hotel, plus air. Because some of these fan are really big.
You gotta wonder if Flair's getting that same kind of payday. Probably, yeah.
So Flair did Fan Fest for Kirk right before COVID, and he did come out. And I know, and they were pretty good friends. And I know that Kirk wanted to stay another half hour, and Flair wanted a couple more thousand. So.
Let's be honest. It's wrestling. That's what old carnies do, man. They squeeze, shammy every last penny.
Yeah.
Yep, that's what they do.
That's what we do.
Yes. Well, thank you for the great show. I'd love to be on again.
Love to have you on again. Now that I actually have your contact info, we'll make it happen. And I'm going to throw this computer through the fucking window.
Put it through the fucking window like Shire would have.
Ooh, I love that voice there.
Still got it. Thank you, guys.
Good shit. Well, thanks for joining us, Alan. It's been a long time coming. I haven't. You've been on a Wrestle Shoot once before, but it was, I think, 78 years ago when we were doing it on the radio.
Yeah, it was just audio, right?
Yeah.
We just called you up, and we were on a terrestrial radio at the time.
I think I remember that. I think I was on my landline phone or something.
Right.
Good.
Way back then.
Yes, way back.
Terrestrial radio. What a piece of shit industry that's.
Thank you,
right,
Chris.
I know you've been handling things here since I went down. Did we ask Alan if he's got anything to push?
I already did.
Stay happy, be healthy, enjoy every day.
All right, cool. Well, then, on that note,
see you at ringside.
And on that note, I am the technically inept Rob Wilds.
Of course, Casanova.
Mr. Lovely Chrissy here.
Thank you. And Alan, it's been an honor, sir. Thank you so much.
Very nice. We'll be in touch. Have fun. Thank you.